Ugh. Well, you guys check out the addition to the family. This is a 1975-ish Camaro that we've just drug out of the woods that has been sitting there for probably somewhere around 25 plus years. Our goal for this thing is, I don't really know. What I'd like to do is dig through the trunk, clean out the interior, hopefully get this hood up and kind of freshen it up, give it a trucker's bath, if you will. That way, to make it look like something. I don't know what we're gonna build out of it, if anything. We may end up just selling it and letting it be somebody else's dream, or you never know. We may slide 500 horse in here, some big crazy headers, have a good time with it. That's what these Camaros are for. It don't look like much, it don't look like much at all, but 75 Camaro, is it really much at all? I don't know, a lot of people had them. Let's see what we find in the back. A couple of these pieces I already knew, which is parts I took off of here to get this thing out of the woods. Probably end up reusing them things. Now, man, couple of buckets. One's usable, one's not. I'm really hoping we don't find a critter. There's a chance we will, but you never know. Never know. Sometimes with this stuff, it makes me wonder why people keep it. I always like checking coffee cans. Y'all ever heard of people saving money in a coffee can? It'd be pretty awesome to find a mess of 20s. 1, 2, 3, there's 6 coffee cans. Apparently these people were planning to save money, they just never did. Probably ought to get me a trash can. The armrest. Don't really need that. Let me get at the trash can. This is gonna make a mess in my driveway. Now, I'd also tell you, if you blending to dig through one of these cars, get you a pair of gloves on. You never know when you'll find something pokey. Transmission parts don't make any sense. Bunch of leaves. Perfectly good spoon. It's made in Vietnam. You know, it's gonna be like 125% more taxed here before long. Oh, it's one of the parking lights for the front. The jack. Scrap iron. Brand new windshield wiper refills. Look at that. They are brand new. Holy cow. I know that don't sound like much, but do you guys know how hard it is to find a wiper refill? You go into your parts store today, ask a guy for a wiper refill, cross threads his thought process. He's like, whoa, what? I'll sell you a new one. Ooh. Transmission shaft. Be cool if we found a Muncie sitting off in here. Brake parts. Some of this we're gonna save, some of it we ain't. Brake pad. Pitman arm. Thrust washer. Steering. I think this car needs that. Alternator, power steering bracket, bent all to heck. AC bracket. Synchro. That's brass or bronze. Whole bunch of trash. Reverse gear, and it's got the chewed up teeth on it that they always have. Was rebuilding a Muncie one time. I was talking to the old timer that fixed a bunch of them, and I called him and said, I need a new reverse gear. You got one? He said, how bad's yours? Sent him a photo. He said, oh, that's a good one. Reuse it. I don't know. That's what he told me. I reused it. It worked fine. Is this car gonna have a trunk pan in it? It's been sitting here for years and years and years with all this kind of stuff laying in here. Trunk lid's been open, and that trunk mat is laying in there to soak up all that moisture. Here's gonna tell the tale. But nope. It's kind of got one of them lightning holes back here in the back. Ugh, gross. Ugh. Woo. Oh, we got another one. It's gonna get worse. Ugh. Kind of what we expected. We was hopeful for better. But that's okay. This old car's future may be dirt car. Yeah, maybe a dirt car. Woo. We'll get all this in here and vacuum it out. Get it in a bit more presentable state. Move on toward the front. Let's grab the vacuum. I bet you there's a good chance we're gonna stop this thing up. I know this thing's gonna be in bad shape, but it's also pretty interesting how much better it will look with all this crap out of the way. Yep, looks pretty, but we kind of expected that. Now, moving on toward the front. Next thing we're gonna try to do is get this thing up and away. So, since it's been sitting for as long as it has with the hood half open and closed, is actually kind of a blessing because that gives us the ability to actually get that hood up. But the hinges are all froze, so I'm gonna slather this thing in some goo. Now, I don't have a corporate sponsor or anything endorsing me yet, but I can tell you by the name of this stuff, Knock Her Loose, if it does what it advertises, I'm all about this stuff. Knock her loose, son. Knock her loose. Yeah. That should be enough on this side. Dang, it squirts like 3 feet. I guess it needs that length to knock her loose, son. Yes, sir. That's a brilliant name. I want to meet the man who did that in marketing. Bet he's my kind of fella. Or lady. person, let's say person. But it's gonna sound awesome. Perfect. Well, look at that. There's like a wall of crap that hasn't fell out into the ground until just now. But that is from the rocker to there. What's that? 8-10 inches? Yeah. See if we can take this big chunk off. Nice and easy. Yeah. Jesus, this is a bunch of leaves. The seat's not even in there. Ooh, I just broke the seat. Ouch! That was real. Found one of them giggy bushes. That seat is crap. Golly. It's gonna need a rebuild kit. Got it. Whew. How many times have you broke a seat out of a car? Remember, this is a G-rated show. Well, looks better. Here's something kind of neat. It's an ice scraper. It says Newton's Quick Check Market, Highway 64, Pulaski, Tennessee. 38478. I know the fellas that used to run that, I think. That was a long time ago. It's the circuitry for the dash that would have been in this car. Long gone now. So let's get them giant wheels out of here. Golly. Them some old dudes there. And some like out of the 40s. Tell that because it's got the little clips. Hold the center cap on, plus it's 6 lug, of course. What are they worth? Probably you have to pay somebody to come get them. They're worthless. So I don't know if when they threw that stuff away, well, I don't know if they put these in this car to save them, or if they put them in this car when they threw it away. They're like, these things are worthless. Let them be somebody else's problem. Yeah. Wonder if this wheel is wide. I bet it's a. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Dang, was not anticipated being blue. But somebody was going to put that on this car. It's a wider one too. That's worth having. Look here, brake rotor. It's probably the one off of this cart. It saved me about 40 bucks at the parts store. Instead of having to buy one, I gotta reuse this darn thing. Oh well, part of it. Looking still crappy. Still pretty crappy. Door handle's completely missing on that side. Window crank's gone. So, door panel's garbage. If I can get that door panel off to get that door open, I'd like to. Everybody stay calm. Nobody gets hurt. Yeah. Fixed it. There's a spider there that I want no part of. He's right there. You see him? He's one of them ones that makes your flesh go away. Oh, there's another one right here. If y'all see any of them things on me, you tell me. We can mash that fella. Nobody move. All of a sudden, I really don't like this car. We're gonna make this go away a little further. Silly question. Look on my shoulders, my head and back, there ain't nothing on me. Okay. Roll my window down. Golly. Some cool air. That's awesome. We gotta get that door open. So hopefully we can get this thing open with a big old pry bar, a very long flat blade screwdriver, and a hammer if all else fails. A lot of times with these old cars, a couple of things happen. The latch in here gets all rusted and kind of seized up. So this one won't move around at all. Plus these old cars were notorious for the doors to like have the hinges wore out because they droop down. That's a sign because of the body line is about that far off from the quarter to the door here. So you have to make sure that the latch is actually working, meaning like when you pull up on this thing and or the rod in there, that it is releasing the latch. And you also want to make sure that the door isn't locked. So you gotta take a gander in here to look, see what's going on. Okay, first thing, moving this door handle. The rod that would push it is not even on it. So this is useless. And that rod, it feels like it's froze up. So we're just going to put this, ooh-wee, that latch is froze up. Next step, let's just pry. Whew, so much going on in here. And this, let's make sure it works. That would go down. I may have just locked the door. Patience, man, patience. You know what we need? We need some knocker loose. A little bit of here, a little bit of there. Whole bunch here, whole bunch there. Now this is where most television shows or people is like, all of a sudden, look, it works. It did the trick. Real life. I almost think this dude might just need a big Watusi. One of them big Hail Mary kicks. We're gonna try it. Stand back. Oh, this seat, the same weight. We get this seed out of there. Well, we just broke it off. Look at that. I can get in there and kick a heck out of it. Throw her over there. Sound like I broke something. How can you break something that's already broken? Does that mean it's broken-er? My luck, this rear seat bracket tab thing, fiberglass piece is worth like all the money. This is from the days of derby cars. Old Dr. Luce is letting me down. I'm done. Giving up. Gotta live to fight another day. Can't die on a single battlefield. There's a snail right there that's like, don't give up, man. Like, don't do it, bro. Because I'm gonna let you go find somewhere. And I'm gonna get my tools, clean up all around here, and leave you be. Maybe that knocker loose needs to marinate. Wow. There's a bottle of perfume. Whoa. That hit me on the back of the throat. Oh gosh. Come on, baby. Come on. Jeez Louise. There's still a piece in there. Whew, finally. See what else we got. 4 grinds, copper, crap, broken crap, that's straight. Look at there, we got our get out of free jail card right there. No foul. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Well, let me get the carpet out. Get my knife, my knife. Now we're gonna see if we can get that carpet out. I know it may seem a little odd that I was vacuuming that old crappy stuff, but that makes this go a lot smoother. And I was trying to keep some of that glass out of my driveway. So, a couple quick incisions. This old glass is beyond old. I said glass, I mean carpet. Pop showed up. Gotta straighten up now. It's awesome he still ain't that with me. Blooming piece of carpet. The trick here is to fold it all up so you can keep all that junk you don't want folded into there. Ugh. You only knew what that smelled like. Other than hard work. Because if you notice that by the sweat running off the tip of my nose. cut up around that. Ugh. This sucks. Cut around these pieces. Get that out of the way. Man, oh man, ain't much left down there. Ooh-wee. Ooh. Good news is that's a big chunk. Now what I'm planning to do here is use this big fancy 2x4 to persuade the hood to come up with some leverage. And I'll work this thing from side to side. Come on. Oops. There we go. Look at there, boys. May not ever get it closed, but we got it open. If you need one of these specialty tools, I just want you to let you know that it's available at your local hardware store for about $4.50. That went a hell of a lot smoother than I thought. The first glance into this thing, it's missing a few pieces, but I didn't really know what we were starting with because we couldn't get the hood up. But what we've got looks to be the original 350 engine. It's missing the distributor. It's a 2-barrel carburetor. Somebody's done some work here on it. That's not supposed to be there. How long this car's been sitting, this is a good sign to show you. The pulley is literally deteriorating because it's so rusty. The belt is kind of welded itself to that crankshaft pulley, and it's pretty bad. Like, look at that. That's pretty bad. Now, it's missing the transmission too because there's nothing back there. All you see is the big void. I don't know if the thing would run. We could try to turn the crankshaft just to see. You never know. It might accidentally run. However, this could be the reason the car got parked, you know. It's an old small block Chevy. I mean, as long as it ain't frozen bust, it's still worth $100 or $200 to somebody if it's a good 350. This car being a 75, 76 model, it's probably the 0001. I can't really tell, which tells you it'd be the high nickel block, which a lot of guys like to use. So I want to get a bolt or a socket and breaker bar on there and see if I can just crank the bolt on there and see if that pulley will turn, which means it wouldn't be locked up, and that'd be kind of awesome. We got enough old parts laying around that we could probably get this thing fired up, even if it was hammering, knocking, that kind of thing. But we ain't gonna get into getting it running today by any means. But just trying to look around to see what we're working with. I bet this thing is stock because of the exhaust. Sometimes as somebody's putting a motor in or motor out, they'd pull the exhaust manifolds off. This is the factory little tab that the bolts are in, which usually is to keep the bolts from backing out through the heat cycles. They bend them little tabs over. This piece being still on there means that exhaust manifold hasn't ever been off. More than likely, because normally due to unbolt that, don't lace that back through the bolts. Let me grab some tools. Let me just see if I can turn this thing first. Let's do that. Now you may be wondering about this cool little contraption as far as chain goes. I laid that on there earlier. Because when we drug this thing out of the woods, the gearbox was missing and the wheels were flopping and all that kind of nonsense. So I put this on there to limit that front end from steering left to right. Now let's just see if we can crank that. Oh, look at that, it moved. It's going further and further each time. Probably some rust in some of the cylinders. But that not being locked up, I bet we could get that dude running. But for now, what I want to do is get that windshield out, because we're just kind of addressing this thing, see what we can make it look any better. Get that windshield out of there, that'll make it look way, way, way more betterer. So, let's get it done. Should have emptied that before. That silly thing's heavy. Whoever rolled that up should have did a better job. That plastic slowly pulling loose. Not forcing it. Sitting out here in the sun, it kind of lets it get hot. You gotta be careful with that in the trash can. You get hurt just bagging up garbage. We got crap dripping and dropping and falling. Ah. All right. I think it's time for us to see if we can get that loose. Finally, time for this beauty to have her day at the spa. What we're gonna do is give it a deep tissue scrubbing and even a scuffing with some fancy chemical. Now with this old car, when you look at it, the paint is obviously off of the top surfaces because you can see all the rust and stuff popping back through. However, here on the sides of this thing, there's still quite a bit of paint left on it. Yeah, there's some mildew and tree kind of moss growing off the side of it, which is okay, but that all because of this thing sitting in the woods for as long as it has. What I'm going to use is some Sonax engine cleaner. And I know engine cleaner, you're thinking, what the heck, we're not cleaning the motor. Well, this is a pretty strong detergent that cleans really, really well. And I've used it before in the past, and we are going to be scrubbing it with these, and we're going to be scrubbing it with an actual red Scotch-Brite pad. And if you think about it, these are going to probably do more damage than any solution that you'd spray on it. But with this being such a concentrated cleaner, it's going to work really well to get all that stuff off of there. And then I've got this little 50-50 solution that we're going to rub back on it that's going to bring back the luster and actually give this paint some more shine. But where this thing is at right now, all funky, well, this next step is going to make it look kind of luxurious, if you will. Now, the application is simple. You can let it do its thing, and you'll actually be able to notice that this thing, after I scrub it, it will drip down here on the rock. And there's a pretty good chance that you'll see some blue down there. Yep, what that is, that's the dead paint coming off of this thing. I wouldn't recommend this to do on your brand new Corvette by any means. Yeah, you can see if you look close, that stuff's slowly starting to like wick itself down where it's dissolving all that funk. Now I'm gonna re-wet this thing. Up here I didn't spray it on, but we'll get it hosed down. I'm gonna use one of them. Kind of loosen some of that stuff up. This is the funky stuff. This is where all that mold and literally fuzzy stuff was. Kind of give this stuff a healthy swig of it. Let it sit for a few minutes. Scrub her down. See what happens. Let's add some water. Some people will say, oh, it's gonna look like $1 million bucks. This is probably more like a $2 bill. Or 50 cents. I guess we could call it $half. Let's call it $half. It's funny, this stuff has a smell to it. Kind of smells metallic. You need to check out the wash water. It's like cold soup. But yeah, you can see there definitely that old dead paint. That's got a blue cast to it. It's kind of like if you ever wax the car and all the rags turn the color of the car. That's what we're doing here, except for it's in a highly accelerated rate because we're using that scuff pad. All I gotta do is the trunk lid, and we'll be ready to put some pressurized water on it. The time is amongst us. It's time to get high and pressurized and give this thing its deserving bath. Hoo-wee. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Think she needs to dry now. Now the next thing we're going to do is install 2 rally wheels here on the back. Reason we're doing this is it's kind of a presentation. When we drug this thing out of the woods, I didn't have these. Well, I kind of did, but I had the wheels, but I didn't have any tires for them. And I had those laying around for the sake of getting it out of the giggy bushes and over here, put them on there. Now with this next step, this is kind of one of them situations. It's like having a fancy set of shoes on. With these wheels and tires on this old crappy car and all this little work that we've been doing is really going to elevate this car into what you would have saw in the woods as something that's like left for dead and you wouldn't even think about it. And now it's going to be into a, man, you could fix that old car if you wanted to. So I'm just trying to show you what is actually capable out there. Or you got to have the eye of what you're trying to see or what you're trying to build. This thing, it ain't much, but it's gonna look like something when we're done. Shouldn't have caught me rolling them wheels. I was about half out of air. I got a couple of them beauty rings we found in the trunk of this thing. Come on, look, now get started. What's up? Shoot, we ought to pop him on there. Get a little of that chrome. You know what they say. Chrome won't get you home. Sorry to see these old white walls go away. I'm a fan of white walls. Whew. I didn't realize that looked as bad as it did. Who are we kidding? We know it looks bad. Should have done this before. We could have pressure washed those white letter tars. Oh yeah. Looking better already. Even wide. This car looks fast already. Just sitting still. Send it. NASCAR fast. Okay, next thing is going to be adding on some shine. I know, sounds pretty extravagant. It's really not. What we're going to be doing is using some boiled linseed oil and turpentine. What I've done in the past is mix this stuff 50-50, stir it up, and then basically just massage it into your paint. The linseed oil is what is sticky. The turpentine is basically a reducer or a thinner. And the more of this stuff you put on there, the stickier, the gummier it can be. So just want to keep that in mind whenever you're trying your ratios around. Basically 4. So we're basically gonna go to 8. It's gonna be a lot of turpentine. Shoo. Turpentine stinks. Calm the waters just a bit. That's pretty close. And that reminds me, I gotta go get a grease rag. Just your standard old shop rag is what I'd recommend you for applying this stuff onto the paint. Try to use a microfiber, those little ultra fine hairs that it's got. Well, it kind of latches on to all this rough surface. Or if you use that old school grease rag, it doesn't do it nearly as bad. It's pretty complicated. Take this rag, you dip it in there, let it kind of do its thing, and then rub it onto the paint. There's some fellas that make some fancy patina oil. Never used it. This is the only thing I've ever used. Seems to work fine. You can buy it at your local hardware store. Same place I got them fancy buckets that ain't paying me. Ain't paying me yet. To make sure to not throw your rags down in the shop. If you use a multiple amount of them, that this stuff in this combination has been known, maybe it's the turpentine, to spontaneously combust. That ain't no lie. Now on that blue, you can definitely tell it brings back that luster. What about whenever you get to a rusty spot? You just put it back over top of it too. If this old Camaro had a motor in it, y'all know what we'd do. We just fire it up, open header, go blow the fuzz off a deck lid. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Man, that looks so much better. I'm gonna fix the dent real quick. Just went up 50 bucks. Should quote Bob Ross right now. Some kind of something. That man would have something to say like, happy trees or happy mistakes or but there's been a few mistakes happen inside one of these cars here. Yes, sir. Let's shine the dash up too while we're at it. Whoa. And yeah, that painted surface, that looks really good. Now, that stuff does have a little bit of an aroma to it, but that's okay. In a day or so, it kind of gasses out. You gotta think we're applying it straight on right now. Might be able to put a little coconut oil in there and spruce it up a bit. Make it feel like a Hawaiian application of some sort. Best part about this is the ease. Man, this stuff won't cost you a whole lot of money. You can tell I mixed up a whole bunch. It's easy to apply. I do recommend using some rubber gloves. Shoot. A lot of bang for your buck here. A whole lot of bang for your buck. You just look at the difference between the hood to the top of that fender. That looks way less crappy. If you're curious what they use linseed and stuff for, a lot of times folks use that for wood. You got something gonna sit outside on your front porch, put a couple coats of this stuff on it. That kind of protects the wood, it soaks into it. I've had a few guys ask me to clear coat some cars, clear coat and patina. And I told them, man, I don't want to get into all that. It's because it's incompatible materials. Clear coat isn't designed to stick to rust. You ever seen one of them cars that's had a bad paint job and the clear coat's flaking off? Well, next thing you know, that's what your car's gonna look like. It's gonna look like it's got scabies all over it. Then the dude's gonna come back, man, this didn't work, didn't look right. Ain't my problem, boss. You said put clear on it, I put clear on it. He's ticked off and everybody's bad-mouthing you. This ain't worth it. 15, 20 bucks, about an hour worth of your time. Next thing you know, shoot, looking good. Step back and admire our work. Whoo! That car looks totally different. Totally different. Just take a rubber hammer and knock them dents out of them fenders and whoo, that thing almost looked like it'd be ready to go to town. I do believe we have met and succeeded with our goal. Now this car is by no means a beauty queen. However, check out the transformation. from when we started with this old thing sitting in the woods to what it is now, it definitely looks a whole lot better. Now, I had these old wheels laying around, and I may not sell them with it, or they may not stay on there, but I was just putting them on here to kind of elevate what we're looking at. We spent about a day or so getting it out of the woods, and then we spent pretty much a day cleaning this thing out to see exactly what we're working with. Now, I don't know what exactly we're gonna do with it, but I'm here to tell you that I'm sure we could probably find something to do. You know, some big gnarly 500 horsepower or something in it. You could patch up the floorboards, screw some seats in that thing, and probably have just enough fun to get you some time spent in county. But I don't know. Y'all can see I got a bunch of stuff laying around. But you never know. We may have us a good time. Look at that Camaro.